one of the defenses of Biden during that sort of terrible debate was, oh, his mind is still pin sharp, but the problem is he just struggles to express those pin sharp thoughts. It's like, well, that's your job. Your job
Mm.
as leader of the free world is to communicate to us, to make us feel safe when, North Korea or Russia is about to, press the nuclear bomb, and to prove to us that that you're in charge. And if you can't communicate, if you can't get literally, you cannot get the words out your mouth, then you're no longer fit to do the job.
Stuff. Lots of comments today about Joe Biden. Lots of people are kind of disappointed, if not angry, even though we don't have any skin in this particular game. The Democrats knew this was coming. They knew Trump was coming. They knew that Biden was going to be in his 80s. And the evidence over the last 4 years of that he's becoming increasingly incapable, increasingly decrepit. There's lots of talk out of the White House that he can't really function as it gets closer to evening in a way that's very common with people of a certain age. What do you think? Is it too late for him to step aside? Should he step aside? Should his wife tell him to step aside? What do you think?
They're in a real mess, aren't they? I mean, I have been absolutely fascinated by this story for a long time, actually. And I do understand why they put him up as a candidate, because they thought, well, the machine. I don't quite understand how the nominations work, but the machinery around Joe Biden thought, well, he beat Trump once, and that's what we've got ahead of us. So he'll beat him again. And the thing is that there are older people, and there are older people. My dad's 89 and he's in training for the UK Indoor Rowing Championship, and he would be fine. I mean, if he had to do it, he would be okay against Trump, but Joe Biden's clearly.
But would he though? I mean, even if he's doing that, I mean, competing in a rowing championship and running the entirety of the free world, I do think they're slightly different things.
He wouldn't want to do it. But that's the thing, he wouldn't want to do it. He would go, no, I'm too old and tired. I don't want to do that. But my point is that it's not just that Joe Biden is old. It's that he has, he's in quite serious decline.
Yeah.
And he has, and like, I don't want to say dementia, because I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I've got no idea. But it certainly, he shows signs of having sort of good days and bad days, which is not a good sign. But yeah, I mean, God, I think he should have stepped aside ages ago. And I think it was, and I think it was a combination of just kind of panic in the Democratic Party, and also a certain degree of sort of hubris on Biden's part, which you have to do that role, right? You have to believe that you're the greatest of all time, because you've got to stand up and say, I'm the leader of the free world. And that does take quite a lot of hubris and kind of confidence. Yeah. And you don't want to let go of that. I also, what the thing I'm most interested in is what part is Jill Biden playing in all this? Is she, I mean, I read a quite convincing piece in American media about how she doesn't really want to let go of the levers of power. And I don't know, I find that quite persuasive.
Yeah, I'm interested in your thoughts on that, Esther, because there is this smack of misogyny sometimes, isn't it? That, whenever a man's failing, let's blame the seemingly shrill woman next to him and call her shrill and fit that sort of whole stereotype round it. So there is a bit of concern that let's blame Joe Biden for Joe Biden's fault. But equally, she does seem to be a major figure. In that moment after the debate where she stood there and said, like she was talking to a kindergarten child, and you managed to answer all the questions and you stood there, she did seem to be playing a role, didn't she? She's in the conversation.
Listen, Stig, I don't have to tell you how much wives matter.
Yeah.
Wives really, really matter. They really matter. It matters who you're married to, and it matters who women are married to as well. And I don't think it's misogynistic at all. I think that, I don't think anyone's being particularly negative about her. They're saying, look, here she is. She's a part of the team. She's a part of the presidential team. She's the first lady. He loves his wife. She's tough and probably sensible and knows a lot about politics. And she's either saying, look, it's time to go home and chill, or she's saying, no, keep going, you can do it. I'm sure she feels a vast sense of responsibility for the future of America. They are really, really, really scared of Trump. They're really, 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 got their knickers in a twist about it. And I think that she feels like, and there will be plenty of people saying to her, you've got to make sure he carries on, because we can't change horses now. Yeah. So I don't think she's come kind of Lady Macbeth figure. I think that she doesn't know what to do as much as anyone else wants to do. And she wants to present a confident front. But I think that it's just as much her as being part of the presidential team who's just thinking, we've got to just carry on. We've just got to carry on. You know, he seems okay today. So I don't think it's a woman hating thing at all. I think that she is as much of the president as he is.
Here's an interesting email from Kiffer. I'm 81 and I hope, the wisdom to make the right decisions but get others to act. My memory for detail is no longer relevant because detail is easy to access if required, but not essential in understanding the larger picture and directing actions. Biden's experience enables him to decide on the right approach. Trying to remember detail for the debate was his mistake. He should simply have done what Trump did, shoot from the hip, which clearly when Biden is in the moment, he does as well as Trump, but in a different way. Stig, you still have the testosterone to believe that testosterone is necessary to make the right decision. Not so. Youth is not a requirement for leadership. Experience is more valuable. How are you buying that?
No, not really, because I think one of the defenses of Biden during that sort of terrible debate was, oh, his mind is still pin sharp, but the problem is he just struggles to express those pin sharp thoughts. It's like, well, that's your job. Your job as leader of the free world is to communicate to us, to make us feel safe when, you know, North Korea or Russia is about to, you know, press the nuclear bomb, and to prove to us that that you're in charge. And if you can't communicate, if you can't get, literally, you cannot get the words out your mouth, then you're no longer fit to do the job. It doesn't matter if in private you can have incredibly sophisticated complicated conversations and decision-making abilities, if you can't then do the most important job in many ways, which is just to be the front man. I mean, that's the job in American politics. So it's all, you know, I can see why the Democrats think, oh, it's too late and dangerous to, you know, to change horses, but the horse is about to career off the edge of a cliff. Like one of those Roadrunner cartoons, and if you don't do it now, then it's all, you know, all hell's going to break loose in a few months' time.
You wanted to talk, I know, about Mark Cavendish. Now, there is actual age and there is sporting age. And once you get around 40, that's old for sport, isn't it? And Cavendish is old for sport, if not for life, and yet still able to do all this stuff.
And Ronaldo.
And Ronaldo.
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
There's lots of them. There's lots of them. There's, you know, Andy Murray. Okay, bless him. Yes, he has not been able to play singles. And it was very mean of you, Stig, to claim somehow that playing, you know, mixed doubles was, you know, somehow pathetic. Attempt by Andy Murray. He's playing, you know,
No. I think anyone would argue that mixed doubles is the same as being a men's singles at Wimbledon. I think it's a reduction. It is definitely, and people are angry with me on text about this. It must be a reduction from being men's singles champion to messing around with Emma Raducanu for the lols. That feels like a difference in quality to me. What do I know?
Okay, but his brother Jamie has been men's double and indeed mixed doubles champion many times, and I don't think he thinks it's less of. He may think it's one step down. But
well, it is less. I mean, if he doesn't think that, he's wrong.
All right, let's move on.
The point about age, I do find it wonderful and incredibly heartening as a middle-aged man, the sheer number of sportsmen who are just refusing to give up.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, Bjorn Borg retired at the age of 26. You know, and you've got all these people now who are playing a top-level sport. I mean, Jimmy Anderson is taking wickets for England at the age of 40. Yeah. It's just astonishing. And Mark Cavendish's story, and if you don't follow cycling, and I appreciate it's quite a niche sport, it is just the most amazing story. He hasn't won a single race since 2001. Since 2021. So he's had this kind of 3-year barren period, and he's come back and he's won. He had Epstein-Barr disease. He had, you know, very bad depression. People worried he was going to self-harm, and he was determined. He crashed last year. When he wanted to do this one thing, so he could beat the record, so be the greatest cyclist of all time. He was going to do it last year. He crashed, and you think that's it. That's over. His career's over. How sad it you know, it ended with a broken collarbone in a ditch in the middle of on the roadside. And he came back this year and he did it. And it's just so inspiring. And it makes me want to get out of bed in the morning